Hi, my name's Jenny. I'm Chris's wife. I am making a little nug for you because it's a special anniversary for me, which is this bike that we've been paying off for 4 years is now mine. This is my e-bike. It's a Kalkoff e-bike. I don't know anything more than that. I'm sure Chris will put it on the screen for you. I was a fairly reluctant cyclist to the point where I still am not even sure I would call myself a cyclist. 4 years ago, Chris had been cycling for a while and he suggested that I get my own e-bike. Now, I was kind of not against it. I'd certainly had fun riding his bike a few times, but it felt like an enormous investment for something I probably wasn't going to use that much. I felt like I'd probably be a fair weather cyclist. I might not use it all that often, that we'd be paying for something on top of paying for our car. I thought, I don't know. But God love him. Chris took out a Scottish government loan that was interest-free for 4 years. And actually he bought this bike for me. It was second-hand, but it was still a not insignificant amount of money. And Chris has been paying that off for me for 4 years. I could not be more grateful. My bike is by far my favourite thing. My favourite inanimate object, certainly. I wasn't convinced that I would use the bike every day, partly because I'm not a confident cyclist. This is one of the few routes I cycle on. It's a completely protected path for cyclists and pedestrians. I'm not encountering traffic. Unless it's a sunny day like this, I'm not really encountering a lot of other bikes and pedestrians. So yeah, I'm a little bit wobbly. I'm a little bit scared of traffic. I'm always a little bit scared of cycling in the dark. However, apart from during COVID lockdown, I cycled pretty much every day. And I'm curious how Chris knew that, how Chris knew that it would be something that I would do, even though I was fairly reluctant. The things I love about it are I'm quite an anxious person. I live in my head quite a lot. I'm a big worrier. And something about balancing on 2 wheels, physically, is just enough to take me mentally away from that quite anxious place. Just enough concentration to stop me worrying about the past and the future. Just keep me in the here and now. It's like a kind of physical mindfulness that really helps me. I also like that I can get to work fairly cheaply. I can get door to door from my house to my job along the cycle path. I'm really lucky. I know not everyone can do that. It means that I'm not paying for parking every day. And again, I'm really lucky. I just really enjoy seeing the elements around me. So I love seeing the sea and the wildlife. I see seals and heron. I can smell the gorse, smell the grass. Even on a wild or windy day, you kind of smell the ozone, smell that petrichor. There's something very relaxing about it. I'm not the sort of person that would be, if I didn't have an e-bike, I would have a manual bike. If I didn't have an e-bike, I would drive. I'm not really interested in, well, I am interested in fitness for fitness sake, but in reality it's not something I do. I don't go to the gym. I wouldn't cycle in a big loop just for the fun of it. It has to be something I do practically, and I just happen to get those exercise benefits. Now you would think, well, doesn't she just cycle or do exercise recreationally if she enjoys it so much? And that I cannot answer. I don't know. But this works for me. The safety things that worry me, like cycling in traffic, like cycling on a quiet path like this, which is really nice on a sunny day, but on a dark night can be kind of creepy. I don't know, you kind of get used to them. The more I know the path, the more I know how long it takes to cycle down it. The more I know who I'm going to pass every day, you start to see familiar faces, familiar houses, alternate routes. It starts not to be so intimidating. When this path's occasionally closed in bad weather, that does throw me for a loop, but there is another cycle path I can use. Chris and I will cycle in all weathers. I tend not to do that. I'll cycle in a little bit of drizzle, maybe a little bit of frost, light ice. When it gets serious, I use the car. I'm not a big gearhead. I don't have a lot of cycling gear. I have this very nice helmet from 1000, which was a Christmas present. I absolutely love it. Again, that was from Chris. Sorry, Chris, for making you sound like a sugar daddy. Also, I'm going past a lorry. And a few years ago, I got a Basil bike bags, really cool handbag that clips onto my panniers, and I use that for work. I carry my laptop, carry my lunch, carry my lock, and that's kind of it. Like, I cycle in the weather's poor, I'll cycle in. I've got like a sort of leather jacket I wear, or I've got a waterproof jacket. I don't have a lot of super specialist cycling gear. I just wear normal gloves usually. And if it's really cold in my face, I have like just a cotton like ruff thing that I pull up. That wasn't expensive. So yeah, I found that other than the initial outlay of the bike, it's not an expensive hobby for me. In fact, it's kind of a money-saving hobby by the time I factor in not paying for parking, not paying for petrol. It's great. I think if you're down on e-bikes because you think it's not real cycling, you're right. It's not the same thing as traditional cycling or recreational cycling. It's a really different thing. If I lost this bike tomorrow, I would not be going out and buying a mountain bike or a regular bike. Just something about this gentle exercise. I can get where I'm going without being sweaty, without having to change clothes. But, you know, I'm keeping my core stable. You can see I'm a little bit out of puff. I'm keeping a little bit of aerobic exercise going. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I've done something physical that day. It helps me sleep, helps me arrive at work feeling a bit more centered. Yeah, highly recommended. A++. Would definitely do again. And kudos to Chris for knowing that this is what I needed. Maybe Chris will do a little introduction about how he knew that this was a thing that would be good for me and good for us as a family.